But if a company did want to accept Bitcoin themselves, you guys learned about it in the last session, right? This is what they would have to do. They have to install and secure the software. There's no automation. You have to write every line of code yourself. You got to manually calculate and convert in and out of local currency. The volatility risk is a big one, right? A lot of businesses just don't like that volatility. They may be operating on very thin margins as it is, and the price swings would kill them. When you get into bigger companies, the accountant comes into the room and he says, wait a minute, what the heck is this? How do I reconcile Bitcoin in my accounting system? The bigger companies, they're run by lawyers, and they have a whole different set of questions. They don't want to get sued. They want to know, is this going to be compliant with the law? Are we going to get in trouble? So you learned about this in the last session, right? There's technical risk, there's security risk, there's volatility risk, there's financial risk, there's legal risk. Companies look at this and they say, well, I understand the value, but I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Too much risk. And that's where a service like BitPay can really start to make a difference. With BitPay, we take a lot of that risk off of the merchants. So they don't have to install a wallet on their server. They can configure an account on our system, and we have a wallet. Our system is fully automated, so every order that we process, we know exactly who it was for, if it's the right amount, what merchant it goes to, and what we do next. Merchants can set up a direct deposit with us. This makes it really easy. So we can cash them out every single day with a direct deposit into their bank account. That's how they get paid by their credit card processor. They get paid every single day for all the sales they made the day before. Our system works the same way. If they select this option, it makes the accounting really easy because we don't expose them to any volatility risk. If they ask us to collect $100, we figure out how many Bitcoins that is. We deal with the buyer. Once the buyer pays, we guarantee the business will get their $100 minus their fee. So the gross amount of their order is in dollars. The net they receive in their bank account is in dollars. The fee they pay to us is in dollars. That's all they need to account for. The Bitcoins become invisible to them at that point. It makes their lawyers happy too because they never legally take possession of the Bitcoins, right? We manage all that risk for them. So when you deal with larger and larger companies, this is important, right? They want to give it a try. They want to experiment with it, but they want to do it in a way that doesn't expose them to too much risk. And we have a toll-free number for people to call if they have questions. So, sorry, this is a second slide on BitPay. I like it. So this is basically what we've built, right? The peer-to-peer network is here at the bottom. We've built a platform. We've built an interface layer that sits on top of the Bitcoin network that does all of our automated invoicing system. On top of that, we've built both an API and then a simple, browser form post. And on top of that, we've made even more libraries and user-friendly features so that somebody can use one of our tools, not have to write any code. If they're using a WordPress website or a Magento web store, they can install our gateway, configure it, and then it would appear as another payment option right on their checkout page. So we're trying to make it as easy as we can. This is one thing that we run into, and I know you guys talked about it before, but merchants are concerned about being able to process transactions, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong with a Bitcoin transaction that you don't have with credit cards. So one of the things that we're concerned about is just we have to be compatible with all the different wallets that are out there. There is a standard that the Bitcoin wallets use to talk to each other, and we follow that standard, but unfortunately not all of them do. So one of the things that we really like to see is that a wallet would give the user the control of their private keys. Let the user, compose and send the transaction on demand, whenever they need to. Let the user back up their private key. So if your service goes down, they can immediately bring it into another piece of software and spend their money. This is one of the beauties of Bitcoin, is that if you control your private key, you can actually put that private key into 3 different Bitcoin wallets. And if any one of them were to go down, that's great. You can actually spend it from one of them that is up. And you can't do that with money in a bank, right? If you put your money in Chase and the Chase ATM doesn't work, well, you're not going to be able to immediately spend your money out of Bank of America. So there are a lot of things with Bitcoin that are attractive to businesses and customers.